Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Livestream. This week, we're going to be talking about repurposing your live stream. Not everybody knows what this means. A lot of people have their own ideas, and of course, that's the way it is, but we're going to get into some nitty gritty. We're actually going to be talking about both why you should be doing it, what it really means, give you some examples to be doing it, and we have a special guest on, Hani Mourra, who I've known for quite a while now, and he started a company, get this, it's called Repurpose.io. How awesome is that? He's our guest today, and he's going to be walking us right through some of the reasons why we should be doing this, and definitely how his service, because he's a coder, he actually writes this stuff, how it actually works, and maybe why we should do it. And we have a special offer for you guys if you guys stick around. So with that, let's all connect here on, doesn't matter what channel you're watching, whether you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube or on Periscope. I really want to make sure that I'm connected with you guys. So having said that, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys share this out. Let me connect over and watch. I got to bring up the streams now. Now that we're actually live, forgive me while I actually don't look right in the camera for this moment, but I know we've got this going on. All right, so let's see who has joined us this morning. I do see you guys chiming in and making yourself available. All right, and I see you guys are actually joining us on Facebook. Excellent, great to see you, Tatachi and Tish. Great, awesome. All right, so if you guys don't already know, we have some rules for this little game we play called Let's Livestream. And these rules are actually super important, and here's the reason why. Because without it, we get totally lost. This is a Twitter chat and a live stream, so no matter where you're posting on Twitter or whatever, use the hashtag Let's Livestream. It allows us to be able to connect with you. And here's a little secret: if you use it on Facebook and on Instagram, I'll connect there too. So with that, that's rule number one. Rule number two is, because this is also a 6-question Twitter chat, use the letter A for answer and then the number of the question you're answering, and it helps us keep track. And again, this is where you want to use your hashtag Let's Livestream. Number three, we are on Twitter. We're also live on Facebook, and you can catch us some of the replays and actually watch us live, because we just launched our YouTube channel over on YouTube, oddly enough, but we literally just launched it. So if you guys want to watch over there, you can do that. Just again, search for Let's Livestream, or you can just use use our short link, which is vmug.pro/Vitmug YouTube, and that will take you over. Subscribe to the channel and be a part of it. And number 4 is absolutely the best part, which is, guys, I really hope you will get to learn something today, that you're able to share and contribute, because this is a Twitter chat. This isn't just people talking at a screen. You're live, we're live, and we want to hear what you guys have to say. And the last one is definitely everybody share it out, because without you, this is just a podcast that we record with nobody watching. And that's not, live makes it like 100 times better. So we're going to 100 times, what is it, 10x? Is that, do I have that right? 10x? No, it's 100x. We're going to 100x how awesome this is. So guys, please do that. I'm going to join over. I'm actually going to broadcast this actually out on Instagram. How about that? I love it. It says checking my connection. Always checking the connection. All right. So who do we have? I do. So we have a bunch of people around here. I see Darcy. I see Terry. Anybody join us on YouTube? I never know about YouTube, but great. Thank you guys for joining us and watching us there. All right. With that, we're coming up on the first question, but let me bring on our guest, Hani Mourra. Hani, I will give Jen a chance. There we go. Hani, thank you for joining us today, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you, Jonathan, man?
Well,
good to see you.
I'm ready for today. I'm ready to hear what you have to say for a lot of these, because I don't feel like I know that much, or as much as I should be, about repurposing live streams particularly.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a good thing to be doing, and we're going to jump right into it. So,
right,
you know more than you think you know, my friend.
Well, you know what? We'll test that fact, because I'm really good at not knowing what I'm talking about. When it comes to when it comes to exploring new things. I mean, a lot of it's trial and error.
Yeah.
A lot of the times that we're trying to figure out how something's actually working, or will this actually work? Let's try it. It's almost like, let's try and break it. I love that. A lot of people really do kind of have that perspective. Let's Facebook Live, screen sharing just got launched for a whole bunch of people.
Sure.
Let's see how awful this is going to get. Let's see how much we can break this. And I love that. I love that part about it. But anyway,
that's the beauty
just
of live. That's the beauty of being live. It's live. You can make mistakes. It's totally cool. People are not gonna stick a hammer at you. They appreciate that you're giving good content, good value. Hey, it's live. Anything can happen.
Well, Hani, for everybody that's watching, but not everybody knows who you are, would you just do a quick, just take a moment here, just introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah, I name's Hani Mourra. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I'm dad to 2 girls, and I call myself a softwarepreneur. I think that's a cool word. Basically, I use software to solve problems for businesses, primarily content creators. I've been creating software for about 4 years now, from WordPress plugin automation tools to now, full platforms like Repurpose.io. I love it. I love what I do.
That's awesome. I remember, and I gotta say, it's probably close on now, like 2.5 years ago now. I think you and I met, whether it was through Twitter, maybe it was through Blab, maybe a little bit of mixture of both. We've talked a bunch of different times, about some different topics, live streaming, definitely podcasting, repurposing has kind of come up. It's just kind of some of the things that we talk about, but I was really excited to have you on because of repurpose.io. That's your new baby. That's, you've been growing that, and I'm really excited to hear about that.
Yeah, it's been around in the public since April of this year. So 6-7 months now. It's been very exciting. Very, very exciting.
Well, let's jump right in. I know we've got questions going. They're already live on Twitter. For those of you guys that are joining in participating, that's one place to join, is over on Twitter. The question already goes out. And the first question really is, it's pretty simple. It's pretty straight out there. And question number one is why has repurposing live streams become so important? I
Yeah,
think we know very much so that live streaming has become an important part of our lives, but the component about repurposing seems to be a little bit of an unanswered question. So, Hani, I want to turn it right over to you and just ask you, well, from your perspective and from what you believe and know,
mhm.
why is repurposing live streams so important for us now?
Yeah. I mean, to sum it up, it's basically giving content new life, and reaching people that may not have consumed your content or your live stream the first time around. So putting it in different formats is one form of repurposing. It's like taking a video stream, converting to an audio. People may not necessarily catch it live or catch the video version, or maybe don't like to watch videos online, but having it in a different type of format just attracts a whole set of audience that you may have not reached the first time around with their video live stream. So it just, people learn in different ways. So you try to kind of get your content out in different formats on different platforms so that you just get that, get that new listener engaged and to learn more about you and your content.
I really like that part where you said, that you're getting them ready, or you're allowing them to be able to watch on the next go around. Where I think, one of the, what makes the live stream so great is that it's in the moment, it's participatory. We're making content like in the now, as it were, but not everybody can catch everything that's going on now. I'm sure right now, I'm sure of it, that there are other live streams happening right now, and the people are watching that, and they may want to watch both. But I mean, you can't. We tried picture in picture, with TVs and things like that, and that just, I don't know, it just never really connected. Yeah, I mean, how do you do that trying to watch your shows and participate? But if you make your content with that component of catch us on the replay, seems to be that magic, that's something that makes it so that you can do this. Is that really, where do you think that live stream's going?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great chance. To me, I like live streaming. One aspect of it is the fact you have engagement, and you also have the fact that it's almost forced you to get it done. You don't have to worry about pre-recording, editing and stuff. It's just there, it's live. So now you have this content, whether it's an interview, solo show, and you want to give it, like I said earlier, more life. You want more people to listen to it. And like you said, not everyone can listen to it live, but having it on different platforms, like a YouTube, on a Facebook, having it in audio format and having it in like a blog format, like text format, just gets you out on different people's radars. People who like to read, you give them an option to read it later, or consume it versus audio. In a podcast, they can consume it into an audio podcast later. So you as a creator, you have content, bigger reach for different people, different types of people, but also as a listener, you're going to get the chance to consume it the way you want.
I think it's a really important aspect. Being able to allow your audience, whether they're viewers or listeners, to consume it the way they want. I really think that that's a really crucial part of what makes content now so appealing, so available. It's not just video on demand. Well, that's the mechanism, but the ideas and being able to watch or listen to somebody and then be able to respond, which is what live is, catching them and seeing exactly where and what they're, what they're thinking about. I mean, how many of you guys have ever posted a live stream or even like a live audio, say like something like Anchor or something like that, or maybe on Facebook audio? You put it out there and the comments an hour, 3 hours later, maybe the next morning, comments are still rolling in from the piece of content you made yesterday. And because they're watching it for the first time. And I love that. And I really do try to do my best to watch it and to, to respond right away. Cause it's hard.
Yeah.
You're always making new content. Sometimes it is hard to kind of catch up. Hey, I want to switch over and just take a second and give a shout out to everybody that's watching on Facebook. I see Melissa Reyes, I see Chitachi, I see Zeph Zan, Cindy Harrison. Thank you, Tim Lynch. Thank you guys, Jason Franco. Thank you guys, everybody, for watching us here. I really appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, would you give a quick share out? I see there's like, you guys have like shared this out like a ton. There's like over 12 shares on today's show, which is just awesome. I really appreciate it. And then also for everybody that's watching, it's a little harder for me to catch all of the comments and everybody that's watching on Periscope, but you guys are awesome too. I love it. Thanks guys for joining us today. Question number 2, because we're just going to kind of keep pushing this and moving forward here today. Question number 2, and I wanted to kind of make this our second question and just transition to it. But what stops you from repurposing your live stream content? Now, Hani, this is a question both for you as well as for everybody that's watching. I want to make sure for you guys that are watching us, whether you're watching us live or on the replay, guys, what is stopping you from repurposing your live streaming content? There has to be a reason. There has to be maybe it's time, or maybe it's a tech thing. I don't know. Maybe you're like fresh out of ideas. I mean, maybe you need some more coffee. I don't know. But Hani, let me turn it over to you, man. What stops you from repurposing your live streaming content?
Too much work. It's too much work. It can be too much work to take the content, download it, edit it, upload it to the different platforms, enter the title, the description, depending what you're doing with it. It can be a lot of work. Converting it from a video to an audio or audio to a video is just extra work that's not fun. Like content creation is fun. We all love interviewing people, talking to people, engaging with our audience, and having conversations or educating and teaching, just solo shows. That's the fun part, really. And to me, that's the important part. It's focusing your efforts on getting awesome content. And then it's tiring. It's exhausting. And then you're done, but you're not really done. You got to get up and take that content and put it up here, copy the embed code on your blog, upload it to YouTube, upload a snippet to Twitter, blah, 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 convert it to an audio. There's so much you can do. It's overwhelming that you end up saying, you know what? I'm ready to move on to the next piece of content, my next episode.
Right. I know with us and what we do here between Vitmug and Live Talk Nation and Talk Social News, and definitely with Let's Livestream, there is this feeling of constantly creating more content. And there is this temptation just to be like, I'm just going to let it sit. I'm just going to let it roll because I'm always going to be making something new. But that's not the way that people are consuming the content. That's not the way that they want to that they want to watch. You know, they want to watch on their own time. True, but like, I mean, I go back to other podcasts,
Mhm.
you know, but with that it does take a lot of time, both as the watcher, but I mean, it takes even more time. I don't know how many of you guys have. Let me ask this to everybody that's putting out there, and I'll give a shout out just real quick because I see Gail from over on Periscope. She says, well, the number one thing for her, she says, time. She needs extra hours, and not coincidentally enough, Webgirl TJ Terry Johnson over on Twitter, she says, I need more hours in my day. So just right off the bat with that, I see just that common thing that they both need just maybe more hours. But short of that, I mean, does Repurpose actually put more hours in the day? That's not how that works, right? That's a totally different software set.
I would not be here right now. I would be at Bahamas somewhere. If I could put more hours in people's day, I would be.
Yeah. This software puts extra hours in your day. That's a great tagline. It's totally clickbait, but that's a great tagline.
Yeah.
I do think a lot of people they do see that as the time element. It is not always the know-how. I think there's a lot of tutorials out there, but it's you know how do you do this quickly?
Yes.
I know for me, it is in many cases it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of time because we know like doing an hour show, it takes an hour. Like I can't do an hour show in a half hour. I mean, if I could figure that out, now I'd pay more for that than an extra hour in my day. But that's a totally different show. But I do think it's a little bit of it's a little bit of time, but I also think it's a little bit of expertise of being able to, okay, now which code do I put? Where do I put it on my website? Okay, so what do I do now? I have it on Facebook. Where do I find that particular code for that thing? Can I grab the comment from my live stream and can I put that on my blog? How much time and how do I actually do that? Yeah, there's lots of smart people out there, and believe me, I mean, there's constantly smarter people out there because they're always learning. So it's not about like, do you know everything? It's do I know enough to get my project done on a weekly, on a regular basis? And we'll get into a little bit of maybe a little bit later on some other people that we've seen through Let's Livestream that are kind of in our community that are actually doing this and talking about this. But I want to make sure is if I've missed any comments or anything like this from anybody out there, I love being able to catch everybody and see what you guys are doing, how you guys are broadcasting, catching today's show. So um, where are we here in the show? So we have, oh yeah, this is the other thing. And before I forget, because I think from here on out, it's going to start getting a little bit faster. But I did want to say, if you guys don't already know, the show is produced by Vitmug, and Vitmug is a full-service live streaming and post-production company. Boy, that's a lot of production in there. We're a full-service live stream production company. We focus on live streams, but we also work with audio as well as post-production video. We really do help you take your concept idea from that. This is a really great idea all the way straight through to execution and broadcast. And we would love for the chance to work with you. If you have any questions ever, just reach out to myself or go over to Vitmug, whether you're on Facebook or on Twitter, message us. We will get right back to you. And we would love to help put you and your brand in front of the eyes that want to watch you. So with that, Hani, I think we are on, let's just jump right into question number 3, because I think question number 3 is that's where the rubber meets the road here. All right. I really do. I think that's where it is. Hey, Josh Greenwood, thank you for your comment. Today's live stream looks great. Josh, no, we do not use OBS in this setup. Would love to show you and maybe work with you on that. Thanks for the comment. I appreciate it. Great to see everybody hopping in. All right, question number 3. Do you have a live stream content strategy? All right, guys, this is really important. Do you actually have a content strategy for your live streams? This is so important. This is not just, do I have a Twitter account? This is what am I going to do with my Twitter account? What content am I going to put out? How am I going to put it out? That's a big question. Hani, what about you, man? Do you have a live stream content strategy?
My strategy is focusing on obviously the repurposing side of things. So definitely you want to promote your show just prior to it, schedule it, getting people on the show. Definitely want to do that. while you're live, encourage, like Jonathan's doing, encourage people to share to social media, including Twitter and Facebook, depending where you're streaming from, Periscope, Facebook Live. Definitely want to do all that. But after the fact, kind of ties back into repurposing is I like to get that content out to multiple channels. And I'm going to just pick an example. Like if we're broadcasting from Facebook Live, we have that Facebook Live, we've done the stream, we are done. And the two, I want to say three, but the third one's a little bit more involved. So I'm going to focus on two. Is just a no-brainer, absolute no-brainer. Get that video off of Facebook, like download it and send it off to YouTube. You definitely want to do that. And on YouTube, you want to do a little bit of optimization in terms of keywords, title. You want that video to live on YouTube. And the reason is YouTube's a search engine. YouTube has more life than a news feed on Facebook. There's a lot of value in doing it live, a lot of attention initially, but then you got that longevity on YouTube, especially after a little bit of optimization. Then get it on your blog. Your home. Your blog is your home. It is your home where you collect email addresses, more importantly. You can't collect email addresses and grow your audience that way through Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You can do it on your blog. So embed a video version. Facebook lets you embed it and get a blog post up after you're done the live stream. And then at some point, probably not right away, maybe down the road, you have this content, great content, get it into take that MP4 video, take that video file from Facebook and convert it to an audio, and then make that either an episode for that upcoming week, if it makes sense, or maybe release a small series, a podcast series, an audio only series related to a topic. Now, iTunes, the new update on Apple Podcasts lets you do series-based podcasts, which is really cool. So without getting into too much technical detail, the idea being you can use that content, make a 7 or 8 part series, and you already have the content. You just have to add an intro, outro, small editing, and boom, you've got an audio version of that content. So those are the 3 places: blog posts, YouTube or other video channels, and audio podcasts.
I think it's very interesting that when we're talking about things like audio, it's really important that the audio portion comes through. We've talked about that from a technical aspect, from a listener point of view, that sometimes the video quality can kind of be like, but if the audio quality is there, I'm more apt to stick around and listen if I can hear it better. But it's really interesting because I didn't know that about YouTube, about iTunes. I didn't know that about iTunes. I think that's interesting that they've done that, because I know Anchor for sure, they do allow you to do that in short little series. So you can catch maybe 4 or 5 minutes. Maybe you only want to catch, out of all the 6 questions, maybe question number 3 is the most interesting. And it gives people chances to listen to just that part that they want to do that. So I really find that to be helpful. So the blog posts, YouTube, and your iTunes are really great places, to implement that strategy. For those of you guys that are watching on some other platforms, what is part of your strategy? We kind of asked this in a do you, and a lot of people are like, nope, we're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I did. It seems that some of the biggest reasons for not doing this is because they just simply don't have time. And I do think that's a shame, because there is a lot to be said for, making sure your time is valuable. And I guess the way I've always looked at it, Hani, is that, look, if you're going to actually take the time to produce the content, why don't you, and you make the content the best that you can, why don't you take the time to then repurpose it out? It's like making a painting and then just putting it in the closet. Right? I mean, and I say that because I've got Cindy and I've got Melissa on here that are watching. I know they're watching, and they watch on the replay, and they're both painters. They're both very talented painters. Matter of fact, I've got a drawing. I've actually got mugs, coffee mugs from both of them with their own art on it. So that's why awesome. I like that analogy. But one of the one person, and we put this question out there. Jenn Nelson put this question out on Facebook. earlier this week talking about, like, do you repurpose? And we got some really great answers. One of them, and many of you guys know this, but we were asking, how do you repurpose your live stream content on social? Right. And it's a really important question, because when you put the time out to make the content, you really do want to take the time to make sure and share it out in bite-sized, in bite-sized pieces. Brian Fanzo, he replied. He was one of the many people that replied, and I want to point his answer out, because a lot of people do see him, and he's one guy that makes the content. He does live streams, he does shows, he's traveling, he's speaking. So we talk about that time element. Well, this is what he does. He says this: I turn every live stream into 6 to 8 pieces of unique content to be shared and promoted over the 5 days after the live stream is over. And I really found that to be very interesting, and to be very clear, this is just part of the answer that he had put out there. He actually left quite a bit more, but we want to give you guys enough to see, hey, there's somebody like Brian that's able to do this, that's able to actually spend the time to not only make the content, but then to find ways to repurpose it and to schedule it out so that it's in bite-sized pieces for the rest of the week. And I think it's a really interesting part that he actually cuts whatever he does, and because he does a number of podcasts, his own. He works with he does a number of other chats and things like this throughout the week, and he's always tweeting. But he still finds time to turn his into, what is it, he said 6 to 8 pieces of unique content. Good for you. If we could only all do that a little bit more, maybe the bite-sized pieces of content would actually find a unique audience that way. So I was really impressed with that. Hani, what's your take on that?
I mean, I like the idea of bite-sized content. You can consume it quickly. And the point, it's almost like a catch, right? You're on social media, you want to catch someone's attention, let them listen to a snippet or watch a little video snippet, and then send them back to your website to consume the rest of the content. And I think that's key, is getting those, using these channels, social media channels, video channels, as ways to attract new audiences, get new attention, and draw them back to your home base, draw them back to your website, get them to learn that you have even more content, and let them subscribe to you, connect with you on Facebook, offer them these opportunities to engage with you, and even better, an opportunity to get them on an email list. I think that's the most value.
I really like that last part. A lot of people are neglecting email as a way of connecting, but I don't, because we don't email. Everybody knows now it's 2017 as of the recording, right? 2017. Email is not my social place. It's my reminder place. It's a communication tool. And that's exactly what it is. I'm not social on email. I'm social on social, and I'm social in real life. But this kind of hits one question, and I think Melissa Reyes asked this question. She says this on Facebook, and I want to get your thoughts on it right away. Her question is it ever too late to repurpose old content?
No, in my opinion, no. It's never too late. If you have a backlog of episodes, get them all up on YouTube, or get them, create snippets and share them out, because content is content as long as it's still relevant. And you're not talking about I don't know, ICQ, or I don't know, I'm dating myself.
Well, that's exactly the point. If your content's about something that's that's outdated, the tech is gone, or or it's become irrelevant, not in an antiquated, like, oh well, remember when? So it'd be like us doing a show about about Meerkat, how to use Meerkat, or Blab, or something like this. It really doesn't have much relevance other than just to say, hey, do you remember when? Right. You can only do that so much. Thank you, Jen, for bringing this up. Chris actually, he also chimed in on this. He says, one way is I embed my Facebook Lives into a blog post, and I upload some to YouTube as repurposed. Nice. So, Chris, I don't know if you and Chris are like sharing the mind, Hani, but you guys get it.
Yeah.
You guys get it. And I think you're hitting it right on the head, as just different ways. Because I mean, a lot of people are just using Facebook Live as the way that they do this.
To create the content, it's a perfect platform. You create it in front of an audience and get some engagement. But then what? You can't. It's hard to search on Facebook, so you need life outside of Facebook.
Owen Video, which many of you guys know, Owen Hemseth. He's Owen Video on Twitter, and you'll also find him on YouTube as well. He chimed in. He says, "Be intentional. Know where you're going to repurpose before you even hit go live." And I like that because he's really hitting it home to exactly what we're talking about of having a live stream content strategy. This isn't go live haphazardly. It's know where you're going to go, and you're making content so that people watch it. And if you guys have ever watched Owen, you know that he really does have a message and he has it out there to share. There's one other one I wanted just to highlight, Alfredo Tigolo. I don't know if we have that one. I know that I tweeted it out, and most of everything that we've been doing has been tweeted out today. Alfredo, he does live streaming, but he does it from a not from a marketer's perspective, which is why I really appreciate a lot of what he does. He says, "I tried to do 5-minute clips of content to make it enticing enough for viewers to check the full episode later." I really like that. And that just kind of hits right to the core of it, of why would we want to repurpose? Why would we want to take something we've made, make it into something that it wasn't? Maybe the shape was a little bit different, or the length, or the way that we're going to present it. And he puts it out there so that if they want to check the full episode, they can watch this later.
I like that too.
I know those are a lot of the quotes and a lot of the content, and I really appreciate what everybody's been sharing. Hani, as we're about halfway through, and if you guys haven't already, please make sure that if you haven't already, please share this out. I really appreciate that. But Hani, I want to give you a moment because we've talked a little bit about it in the abstract. Why should we do this, and what's stopping you, and do you have some kind of a content strategy? But really, from here on out, and the rest of the questions, and I want to kick it off, this next set of questions, but I want to give you a chance to tell exactly what it is that you do and the companies that you have started, particularly in that I'm speaking directly, and it's literally right on your shirt, repurpose.io. And I know that we're here at Vitmug and under Let's Livestream. I know that we've put it out, and we've kind of teamed up and partnered up with you to be able to provide everybody here that's watching, or that's watching on the replays for that they'd be able to join in and be a part of what you do. But would you just take a minute or two and tell everybody what it is that repurpose.io is?
Yeah, absolutely. It is a platform that allows you to take content from live streaming, Facebook Live, or audio podcast, and automatically repurpose them into videos on YouTube, automatically convert them to audios and publish them to different platforms, or vice versa, taking audio content and publishing it as videos. So it's a content repurposing tool that lets you connect up all the channels you want, the key ones being Facebook Live, YouTube, audio podcasts, Dropbox, Google Drive are integrated as well, SoundCloud as well. And you kind of create the rules. You decide where you want the content to go and in what format. For example, if you're an audio podcaster, you can have an audio file turn into a nice video with dynamic video with some waveforms, have that sent off as a video to YouTube and to Facebook. And if you're a live streamer, you can take the live stream from Facebook Live and automatically have that uploaded to YouTube. You don't even need to log into the software. Once you set these rules, you kind of make your own rules. You turn on the auto publish. Bam, you just keep doing what you're doing, keep creating content, and you can have all that or some of that content. You can filter based on hashtags as well if you don't want all your content up on the different platforms like YouTube, most primarily, and also on SoundCloud, or even just as an audio file on your Dropbox. So you can take that later and make an episode and turn that into an audio podcast. And so that's what Repurpose is in a nutshell.
I really like I really like your website. I was over there earlier this week, and even just kind of checking it out, just getting more familiar with the features, the way that it works, and the options that you did. And I wanted to make sure that everybody that was watching, they know that they can go over there. We put together a special link. It's vmug.pro/, and it's really easy. It's all lowercase. It's repurpose.io. And we did that because we wanted to bring you, the audience, a chance to be able to use this. Now, the initials, when you sign up, the initial part is free. But if you guys do decide that you're going to be able to sign up, just know that that is an affiliate code, but you still get it for free. I just want to make sure you guys understand this isn't like you're gonna have to pay to be able to get in. But if you guys do decide that you're gonna subscribe, that this is a service that you want to implement and use, that we do actually get a small portion of that, and it just helps support this content and put out this as well as it gives you a really great opportunity to be able to use a service that, short of actually giving you more hours in your day, it actually frees up more hours in your day. So but I do want to encourage you guys, if you haven't already, if you're watching this somewhere else, just take a quick screenshot of it, and then you'd be able to put that in. Hop over there. I'd really appreciate it, and it's also a really great way to help Hani as he's updating this, coming up with new products. Because Hani, I've known you for a few years, and I've used your services for most of that time. I didn't use it right away. I'll be honest. When I first met you, I didn't subscribe, but afterwards, yeah, I did. And it made everything so much easier and so much simpler, because I knew what it did, and then it just did it automatically. So I gotta say thank you for writing this and building this and creating this. This is pretty awesome.
It's my pleasure. I'm all about saving time and creating automation tools. It's always been like that, from the WordPress plugins now to Repurpose as well. It's just taking content, doing the work that's not fun, not the automating and distributing. That's it's publishing. That's not fun. Content creation, lots of fun. Sitting there uploading, downloading this, that, that. No, done. Those days are over.
Hey, I know that we're a little behind on the schedule, but it's going to be okay. Everybody, it's going to be all right. But we have question number 4. It actually popped up on Twitter just a little bit ago. Question though, number 4. What are the top 3 ways do you, or would you like to, repurpose your live stream content? I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. What are the top 3 ways that you guys want to do? We've heard what Hani's thought is maybe some of the top 3, and we'll have him elaborate maybe a little bit more. But we've heard from Hani like where he would repurpose his content. But what about you guys? If you're watching this, or whether you're participating on the Twitter chat, what are the top 3 ways that you guys want to be able to repurpose your live stream? Because this is a really important part of the live streaming. This is using this repurpose content and this repurpose strategy. So as you guys are putting it out there in here, I'm just actually going to drop this as I've been trying to do. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm trying to drop the questions um, in the comments, so you guys can actually see it as part of it. So it's not just up on the screen, but you guys can actually reply and be a part of that conversation. But Hani, just real quick, what were those three areas or 3 ways that you like to repurpose your content?
Video, other video platforms. So Facebook, if you're on Facebook, get it on YouTube, and vice versa. Blog post, text-based with an embedded video on there, and in audio format as an audio podcast that you can submit to Google Play or iTunes.
That's awesome. I know for me, I like to repurpose live content as short video clips, and that Jenn Nelson really helped encourage and she does a really great job behind the scenes, marking the times, and that really helps in that video creation. And I'm really so fortunate to have a partner through Vitmug that that understands the importance of that. So I really appreciate that, Jenn. Another thing that I would like to do, and we talked about this, is one of the things I would like to do is have this content, the shows regularly go out to a podcast, whether it's in an edited form, or if it's or if it's just in a straight hour set, whatever the case is. But I'd like to be able to take that. So I don't necessarily know I've got 3, but those are the 2 things that I do, and we're really trying to get ourselves in a position that we're going to be able to regularly do this, as well as then edit out on the podcast. I think this just gets us right into question number 5. But as you guys are doing this, you haven't already, if you're watching this or listening to this or whatever the case is, I want to encourage you to go over to livetalknation.com. That is our Facebook group. There's this ever-growing community. We talk about live streaming, we talk about social, and we've had this group for a while, and this has just been a really great place to connect. And I will be posting these all the question pictures as well as the the Restream link, so that people can definitely try this out for everything as we send this back out on all of the different channels. All right, man. Question number 5. All right, let's see here. Question number 5. This is a good question. I'm just almost going to completely turn this right over to you. Question number 5: what tools help you repurpose your content? Hani, I think you've got something to say about this. What are the tools that you use for your content?
I think this is a trick question. No, all kidding aside, Repurpose.io is, I built it for content creators, including myself, and I use it myself. It's always good to use your own tools. So Repurpose.io is what I use to get Facebook Lives onto YouTube. And soon I'm going to be doing that, taking Facebook Lives as audio formats as well. So it just makes the whole process a lot simpler. Instead of manually downloading, manually uploading, the software does it all online. There's no software to download. It's honestly, try it for free. You're gonna love it. No joke. When it comes to repurposing Facebook Lives, because that's my go-to platform for live streaming, repurposing that to a blog post, I did have another plugin I created last year, or almost 2 years ago now, called Simple Social Press. And that basically makes the blog post for you and embeds the the Facebook Live video for you automatically. But even cooler, all the comments as well. All the comments from Facebook get plugged in as comments on your WordPress blog. So it's a great tool. I mean, it sounds like I'm promoting my own stuff, but I build these stuff because I use it as well for myself. So those are the 2 tools that I built to solve these problems: Simple Social Press and Repurpose.io.
I think it's that it was one of the things that I really appreciate about when I first got to know you, is that you were creating these solutions, these website plugins, connecting. At first it was, it was connecting Blab to your WordPress, and then it was, talking about, moving your Facebook feeds over to your WordPress site and things like that. I really appreciate it, because you were taking a problem that you had, which is like, look, I ain't got a lot of time. Like, is there a way, and you knew the answer to this, it just had to be made, but is there a way to be able to move something that I made over here to something over here? And yeah, you figured out a way. But that's what I really appreciate. You just weren't making a product in abstract. You were saying, look, I have a problem and I'm going to figure out a solution for it. I want to bring this up right away. Is that Melissa Reyes on Facebook? She asks, she says this, she actually asked this question. She says, Hani, does Repurpose.io replace the current WordPress plugin? Does it replace? And I think you would know the answer to that.
Yeah, they actually complement each other. So the WordPress plugins, they take content, whether it's a podcast, whether it's Facebook Live, onto your site. So the goal of the plugin is to pull content, create content on your WordPress site. Repurpose gets it across platforms. So we're talking from one platform, Facebook, to another platform, YouTube, or from Facebook to audio to SoundCloud. So Repurpose, it does not need a website, does not need a WordPress site. So you don't need any site. It takes from one platform to another platform. The WordPress plugins, which some of you might have already, Simple Social Press or Simple Podcast Press, they take content from the platform down to your website as blog posts. And those do require a WordPress site. I hope that was clear enough answer.
Right. No, I think it is. And in full disclosure, if you want to publish to Facebook, you need a Facebook account. If you want to publish to your website, you need a website account. And all kidding aside, it's I like that you have a number of different solutions, because not everybody's into live streaming, unfortunately. Some people, maybe they use live streaming, but they're really actually focused on podcasting, and you have a solution for that. And if you do go over to and by the way, I did just put the I did just put the link in the Facebook side, and the reason why I did it is because it helps everybody connect there. And you actually have three different pricing options, but the reason why I had to bring it up is because one really is specifically for podcasters, not just live streamers. So maybe you're not quite the live streamer that you think. Maybe this isn't worth it, but you definitely are a podcaster. Hani's got you covered over there, and you just go down, you'll be able to see it says, I'll just read it right off. It says, I connect one podcast feed, convert unlimited full length audios to videos, auto publish to YouTube and Facebook, custom templates, calls to action. Hani, I didn't know this. You have a private Facebook group for this?
It's private, man. It's invite only.
I actually didn't know that, but no, that's cool. No, I was reading down through. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I hadn't realized that you had that.
Each product, once you sign up for the product, you get in a group, and the group is good because you get engaged with people using the product, but also I'm there. Like, you can have access to me and bounce idea. I like hearing new feature requests. Is my favorite thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you're coding it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I have a vision, but users have an even bigger vision of how they want their content to be repurposed or what they want this tool to do. So I'm always one of those people who appreciates feedback. But I mean, whether it's good or bad, but I do appreciate feedback for sure.
Nice. I love it. And that is one of the nice things about using social in this way is that, you can put it out there. It's not just like an email of like, hey guys, does anybody have any ideas? And it doesn't work that way. I'm glad to see that you're like that. Tools to help you repurpose outside of, say, repurpose.io. A lot of you guys use auto schedulers. You've made the content. I mean, there's tons of them out there. I actually just signed up for alpha testing on another one. We'll see if they approve the request, because I want to try out new tools. I want to try out things. And there's lots of different schedulers out there that help you put your content out so that you're not having to sit there specifically right at the moment. You actually use an auto scheduler for this show so that I can focus on the comments coming in, and I don't have to sit here and post the questions out. Look, we already know what the questions are. The engagement comes from the question. So if I put the question out, now I can focus on the fact that Melissa's asking questions. Chitachi was making some great comments, and we have Patty Harp over on Periscope asking questions, interacting. I love it, and this is what makes and why we need these kinds of tools that allows us to actually dive deeper into the participation, not just get stuck in the minutia of clicking post. And by the way, guys, before I forget, if you haven't already, and I know this has gone out, we did just launch a brand new YouTube channel. If you guys haven't already, could you, let me see if I can, I'll bring this up. Could you subscribe to our YouTube channel? We'd really appreciate it. It helps us connect better. We are going to be putting a lot more content out on that channel. Just because it's what YouTube is. So that link, I just dropped it over there, but it's vmug.pro / get this, Vitmug YouTube, all lowercase, all together. It just helps you subscribe to our channel. We'd appreciate that. Helps us get in touch, and you guys will be able to see proof in the pudding. You guys will actually be able to see the content that we do make, both in full length, but then also some other shorter videos as the weeks go by here. Question number 6. I know it's already locked and loaded, and it's probably already out on Twitter. Question number 6 is, what is the best piece of advice you would give somebody about repurposing? This is really important. This is our last question of the day, but Hani, I want to give you enough time to be able to answer this question and give us your thoughts on it.
Content. Focus your energy on your content, and then get them on. Once your content is nailed, it's created, get it out to the platforms we talked about. But the key here is make sure in all these platforms you include a link back to your website, back to a base, like a home base that belongs to you. That's always key. It's good to have content out, but the intention is to drive people back to your site. So don't forget to include a link. And even better, have some kind of call to action. Just say, maybe listen to the full episode here, and then put the link. So tell them what they're going to get by clicking that link. Don't just drop a link in there. They may not know, hey, why am I clicking on this link? So if they consume the content on a different platform, in the description or in the tweet or in wherever you're putting this content, tell them why. Give them a good reason why to come back to your site, and what they're going to get when they get there. So yeah, that would be my advice. Is to
No, that's awesome. I was what I was seeing was Sabrina. I wanted to just quick give Sabrina Cadini a shout out. Say, hey, thank you so much for subscribing to our YouTube channel. We do appreciate it. I don't know if I can actually give a shout out for everybody every time they do it, but she just caught my attention while we were doing it, because and this is exactly what you were saying, is that, look, give them a reason. So we put the request out. Hey, community, would you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel? So that we can continue, as we continue to make content, you guys will be able to see it. And she did that. So I wanted to say, thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. It does make a difference. But I think that's really exactly what you're talking about, which is, give people a reason. Like, why should I watch Let's Livestream on Periscope? Maybe it's for the interaction, but why should I watch John Tripp do another repost about it on his Instagram? By the way, there is Instagram coming, for it. But why should we make the effort? And why? Because if you're going to create valuable content, repackage it in a smaller, maybe bite-sized way, or in a way like Alfredo said, was to put content in a bite size and a smaller fashion, so that if they want to check out the bigger version or the full episodes, that they can do that. I think that's a really awesome way to do it. What about sharing the content out? How do you think? So we talked about best advice for giving somebody for repurposing. How far should they share it? What do you think?
Live or post?
Whether on the repurposing side. So you've done the live show, whether it's a podcast or in this case a live stream. How many places and how much should I put this out to everybody?
As much as you can. Definitely do it. But in terms of what to repurpose, what to share, I always prefer sharing, like heavily promoting your website. It's good to share a video on YouTube. It's great, but YouTube itself is already a search engine, right? You don't necessarily need to draw that much attention to it. I know it helps, for sure it helps, but just treat these platforms as platforms where people already can discover it, but definitely share the content, the version of content that's on your site. And even if it's an audio podcast, hopefully you have an audio player on your site, or a way for people to consume content on your site. Just because I find when someone clicks on something, and especially on mobile, and then YouTube app comes up, I'm not quite ready for it. I'm driving, or I shouldn't be on the phone. I'm not driving I'm not on the phone when I'm driving, but you know what I mean. If I'm not ready for the app to pop up, then it's not good. But if I come to a site, at least if I can't listen to it now, I can bookmark it. I can hit the subscribe button if you have one, to subscribe to your YouTube channel, subscribe to your podcast, or even, hey, they have an interesting giveaway, I can sign up for your email list. So just the fact you're pushing your site, promoting your site, is, I find, the most versatile way to do it. But you definitely want to promote the other ones when they're out, like especially the actual live stream itself. You definitely want to send people to, let's say, Facebook, to come and consume it there, or Periscope. You want to tell people about it. But I find the replay of the content, I recommend getting into your site, or at least primarily promoting your site. There's more value in it that way.
And I like that. And I think on Facebook, RL Chance, he says the same thing. He says, good tip, drive those back to your home base.
Home base.
That is really important. Yes. Where if Facebook went away, or if Twitter went away, I mean, one of the points of social media is that it's a connector, but it's connecting you from them to you. So yeah, Facebook is that connector. Twitter is the connector, but where are they coming back to meet you? And like you said, it's have them come back to where is that place, that home base.
So important. It's really important. It's emails, like, especially if you have a business behind you're live streaming for a purpose, you have products or services. It's difficult, almost impossible, to try to get someone to learn more about your products or services over these platforms. Like you can't get into that level of communication with them like inviting them to webinars or to one-on-one calls or whatever it is. You have that communication via email. It's a lot easier, a lot more intimate. It's one-on-one. So, and like you said, if platforms go away or something happens, you still have a way to talk to these people uh, via email. But the last kind of point about the home base is you can put that email opt-in box. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care if it pops in this way, that way, this way, that way. Have something. It's better than having nothing, because your first time visitor, let's say somebody discovers your content on YouTube, they click through the link, they come to your site, they might read something, and then their daughter's crying and they walk away, they're gone. But if they're on your page, they enjoyed something, and then they can opt in or bookmark that page, or more important than bookmark, get on your email list. Then you can invite them back when you have more content on your blog. So I sound like a broken record, but people lately have been saying, no, emails are not so great. The open rates are not that great, but it's still a great tool to have a deeper conversation. And I treat live streaming or podcasting as a way to attract the right people, but bringing them to your site, to your email list for the deeper conversation.
I really appreciate that. And it really does tie into, and this is for everybody else, we'd love to hear your final thoughts. And if you have any other questions, please make sure you do post them in the chat, whether you're on whatever channel that you're on. Because guys, we really do appreciate you coming here and taking the time to watch us and respond and to be a part of our community and watching. This is really what it's about. But Hani, I just want to give you just a minute as you kind of collect your thoughts. What are your final thoughts on the topics today? I know we've been through a bunch of different questions, and some of them have been a little like, well, what do you think about this? And others are, what is that tool? What is the thing that you would say, do this more than anything else? But for you, do you have a final thought for today and our viewers? I'd appreciate to hear.
My final thought is get this content in front of people where they hang out in. And so it sounds like I'm repeating myself again, but get that content out in different formats: audio, video, text. And I know it's going to take time. There are tools you can outsource, whatever method you're comfortable with, but to do it. But don't go overboard. Like, don't try to be on every single video platform out there, like Vimeo and this and that and the other. Just focus on the big ones, get your content out there, and then grow and expand as you go.
I know we really like the bite size things, whether it's bite size content, bite size advice, and we realize that this is not advice for everything all the time in every case. And I know you well enough, Hani, to say I know you're it's good advice, it's sage advice to say, look, have the content, take the time to make good content, make it into bite-size content bites, shareables, as some people call them. This content where people, if they want to be able to just answer, they want to listen to one of the questions on our Twitter chat today. They don't have to listen to an hour of content. They only have to listen to 5 minutes. And and that's one of the things that I know that I do on our YouTube channel now is that I actually, we post directly to the YouTube, but then I go back through with the comments and I actually list out, oh, here at 1:45, we're starting the show. Oh, at 5:17, this is question number 1. At 26, so you don't have to listen to the whole thing. If you just want to catch question number 2, just click on question number 2. It takes you right there to it. That's a way that I do that for our listeners, so that I don't always have to cut every single video in 8 ways. I actually have one video and I drive all the traffic on YouTube to that one video. And then you can decide, oh, I want to watch question number 2. Here it is, click. And we make it as simple as a click, so that we would be able to use, Repurpose.io to be able to push either, for the YouTube aspect of it. And we have that video, and, that is a great way to be able to do it. I think the final thoughts that I would have is to make it as easy as possible for your audience to engage with you, whether it's on the live aspect or on the replay. And if they do ask you questions and comments on replay, please be a nice person. Responsibly answer them. If they've taken the time to watch it, make sure that you take time to answer them. And I think that goes a long way to building trust and building a better listening audience that they know that you actually really do care, and not just for them to watch, but that you actually want to help them. So with that, I know we have a couple of extra questions here. I know, I didn't know if you've had a chance to be able to look over there. I do see. Thank you, by the way, Alfredo. He says he's just catching the end of it. He'll watch on the replay. Alfredo, we count on it. Believe you me, we count on you watching on the replay. But Melissa actually makes Melissa Reyes actually asked a question. She says, question about editing. I like to edit my live content, but if it auto posts, I'm less likely to edit it. Does it decrease the quality of my work?
That's an interesting question. It depends. My opinion is it depends, if you're cutting out like doing a retake of something. But to me, live, the beauty of live, that's like that one reason why I like to go live versus doing a recorded is because it's live. People know there's gonna be mistakes. As long as the show goes on, the content is delivered, I wouldn't even bother editing